Hi everyone, I'm just on my way into the studio for my afternoon teaching and thought while I'm on the drive in that I would multitask by recording a little video for you on how to market your Pilates studio or your bar studio or your yoga studio using challenges. So it's winter here in Perth and our studio is a little quieter than it normally would be. I've just announced a Pilates challenge for our clients. We're challenging our clients to commit to completing 30 sessions of Pilates within 60 days. And the way the challenge is run is really simple. Clients can register to enroll in the challenge online. The challenge itself or registration for the challenge is free, but of course they pay the usual class fees for lessons attended during the period. We have great big challenge posters up on the wall at the studio, which basically have a table of them where each client has their name entered, and then a box where they can write in the date of each lesson that they attend over the period of the challenge. All of the clients who are successful in completing 30 lessons within the 60-day period go in the draw to win a block of 20 private Pilates lessons, which is valued at $1,800. So it's quite an appealing prize. Basically, we choose the largest block of lessons or largest lesson block that we offer at our studio to offer as our prize. Now, I can either keep that extremely low cost for me by providing the private lessons myself, in which case it's no actual money out of my pocket to award that prize, it's purely time. Or obviously, you could allow for one of your teachers, or I could allow for one of my teachers to be taking those sessions, in which case I'd need to allow for staff costs in terms of calculating the overall cost to me of running this promotion. So in a nutshell, that's how the challenge runs. The important thing to run a successful challenge is to make sure that you generate lots of buzz and excitement about it and market it really well. And there are two ways that you want to market your challenge. You want to market it both internally and externally. So internal marketing is marketing to your existing clients at the studio, and external marketing is of course marketing the challenge to outside people who may potentially become new clients and join your studio specifically for the challenge. As mentioned before, I set up my challenge online in our online booking system to make it easy for people to register as soon as they feel inspired to do so. I create a page on my website which details information about the challenge, how to register, how it all works. If you want to see how I set up our webpage for a challenge, you can visit www.perthpilatesstudio.com/Pilates challenge and see how I set mine up. On that webpage, there's a direct link to the online booking system so people can register once they've read about how the challenge works. In addition, I also set the challenge up as an event on our Facebook page. Facebook events are a great way to market your studio because as soon as you have any of your clients or any of your staff members or yourself click that you're interested in or going to an event, the details of that event will then show up in their friends' news feeds. So it's an excellent way to kind of really broaden your reach for any event you're running. So I set up a Facebook event. I share that on the Perth Pilates Studios page. I share it on my own personal page. I also have my staff members express interest in the event and share it on their personal pages. That's the first way that I start to generate and attract interest. Then I also set up a Facebook ad, a paid Facebook ad, and the Facebook ad that I set up is geared towards getting new clients specifically into the studio. So I set up an ad talking about the fact that we have something along the lines of, for example, summer bodies are made in winter if we're doing a winter challenge, or something a little bit exciting, inspiring, new year, new you if it's a New Year's challenge. I set up an ad outlining just very briefly saying that we've got the challenge coming up and this is when it's starting, so there's a sense of urgency for people to sign up. They've got a date they've got to book in by. And I very specifically target the ad to the clients who are most likely to attend my studio. So Facebook marketing is a great cost-effective way to market your studio, so long as you're very smart about how you use the ability of Facebook ads to actually target your ads. So for me, our studio is based in North Perth. I select my audience from people who live in North Perth or within like a very small radius of North Perth, usually the smallest radius that Facebook will allow me. Depending on your studio demographics, whether you have predominantly male or female clients or a mix of both, you can select which gender you're going to target your ad to. So for example, if you had a bar studio, you're most likely to appeal to female clients. So you may, for example, target your ad to women. And you can also nominate an age group or an age range that you're going to target your ad to. So depending on the type of studio you have, like for many Pilates studios, you might be looking at an age range of sort of 25 to 55 or 60. If you're going bar studios, for example, it might appeal to a slightly younger demographic, so you might be taking the lower end of your age range down to say 20 and maybe going up to sort of 50 years of age. Choose an age range that is reflective of the general key demographic that you have attending your studio. And then the final thing that I do is I select my audience on the basis of their interests. So in addition to choosing them based on the location where they live, their gender and their age, I'll also specifically target people who have an interest in health and fitness, perhaps an interest in Pilates or bar or yoga as well. If they fit any one of those criteria, there's a good likelihood that they'll be interested in the services that we have to offer and hopefully in participating in our challenge. So I'll set up a paid Facebook ad to run from the time I announce the challenge, which is usually a couple of weeks out before the challenge begins, up until a day or two before the challenge is due to start. And you can set a fairly nominal budget if you wish. It doesn't have to be a high cost, expensive thing to run a Facebook ad. Now, the Facebook ad is obviously targeted to potential new clients. To make sure that my existing clients are aware of what's going on, in addition to our posts on social media, I'll send out a bulk email to all of our existing clients telling them about the challenge and inviting them to sign up. And that's a great way to get a lot of your existing clients involved. I mentioned that in studio we have challenge posters where clients record their attendance at sessions. Now, I specifically choose the option of using a challenge poster as opposed to like individual little challenge cards, for example, that people carry around with them and get signed off when they complete a class, because the posters are highly visible. So our posters, we have quite large posters, usually because we have typically up to 100 people enrolled in each challenge. We have about 3 posters actually up on the wall, and they take up a good section of wall. They're printed in full colour, so they're sort of visually attractive and eye-catching. And when clients start to see other people putting their names up on the board on the challenge poster, they tend to start getting excited and want to, sign up themselves, or it starts to generate a bit of conversation about the studio because newer clients who haven't seen the challenge before might start to ask questions or talk about it, and it generates sort of some energy and some buzz about the challenge. The posters that we use, all I did was I came up with the rough concept of what I wanted on the poster, which was basically our studio name and logo at the top and the Pilates challenge, a table where people could put their names and mark off, 1 to 30 sessions. Down the bottom we have our little quote from Joseph Pilates about the 10 sessions, 20 sessions, 30 sessions. I just took that basic concept and sent those along with our studio colours, a copy of our logo, and some photos that we used for promoting our studio. And I just found a designer on Fiverr and sent the files off to them and asked them to come up with a poster concept for us, which they did quite quickly. So sort of within 48 hours we had our poster design done at a very cheap and cost-effective price. And then that poster file I just send off to my local printer, and it costs me about $30 per poster to get those posters printed in the largest sort of size available, which is I think actually second largest size available. I think it's about 1 meter by 70 centimeters from memory. And then once the posters come back, we pop them up on the wall. So the posters themselves, as well as acting as a way to record the challenge sessions, also serve as a form of internal marketing for the challenge. So that's basically how we promote our challenge. We've just announced our challenge sort of a few days ago, which is going to be starting in 1.5 weeks' time now. And I'll typically expect that once that challenge starts running, our studio will be getting pretty full pretty quickly. So I'd encourage you to have a go. Think about setting up a challenge in your own studio, a bar challenge, a Pilates challenge, a yoga challenge. Choose a duration, whether it's 60 days as we do, or whether you go for a shorter 30-day challenge, which can also be a really great option. If you have any questions, please post them down below and I'll do my best to get back to you on them as quickly as possible. And if you have any comments to share about your own experience running challenges within your studio or any other similar great marketing ideas, please also feel free to share. I'd love to hear from you guys. Thanks for listening.